me is Edmund Ghareeb. He is an academic and Middle East expert based here near Washington. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Well, the clock, as you know, is ticking on the withdrawal of U.S. and allied troops. Once they leave in a very short time, what do you expect the situation to be like in your eyes?
That's a very good question, and it's really not yet clear. But if we take a look at the situation on the ground, especially the events that have taken place recently, the attack by ISIS, Khorasan province, at the airport, which led to the killing of a large number of civilians, as well as 13 American soldiers, is an indication that the situation in Afghanistan is likely to continue to face a lot of turbulence. The division, for example, between ISIS, Khorasan, and Taliban apparently is not something that just emerged. There was a confrontation between the two over the past years, and they disagree on a number of policies, particularly, for example, ISIS Khorasan opposes Taliban's negotiations with the United States, with China, with Russia, with other countries that they consider to be infidel countries or countries which they should not be negotiating with. They also disagreed on a number of other factors dealing with the role of Taliban and within Afghanistan, and also their support for the Pakistan Tahrik, which is the Pashtun communities, the group in Pakistan. Also, we've seen recently that the disagreements as well between the Ahmad Shah Massoud in the Panjshir Valley and his opposition to the Taliban. However, there have been negotiations between the two sides, and both sides have agreed, the Taliban and Ahmad Shah Massoud and his allies, that they would not attack each other in the immediate future, and they would wait for further negotiations. At the same time, Afghanistan is going to be facing a number of challenges. One of them is the loss of a lot of people, civil servants, the professionals who are leaving the country. Many of them have already left. People who are needed for running the affairs of the government. There are going to be economic problems, especially with the suspension of financial aid. The U.S. has suspended the resources, the ability of the Afghan government to get the resources in the U.S. And there are about $2 billion in gold and probably close to $5 billion in dollars. Also, the International Monetary Fund has done the same. So there are also a lot of ethnic as well as sectarian divisions with the Hazara and the Shiites, and some of the more extreme groups, including the ISIS Khorasan.
If I may, sir.
Also the Tajik. Sorry, yeah, go on.
Yeah, if I may, sir, I just want to get to another point because we have a few minutes left. Sorry to interrupt, but what role do you think countries in the region have after the U.S. and allied forces leave? Obviously, they have some stake in this, being in that region.
Absolutely. I think this is a very important issue, and that's why it's going to be very significant to see whether the Taliban, which has been sending a different message than the previous messages we used to hear from the Taliban when they were in power before 2001. And now they appear to be trying to open relations, contacts with the neighboring countries. They say they have no animosity toward any country. They want to have good relations with all countries all over the world, that they are opposed to terrorism, and that which is an issue of concern to some of the neighboring countries, whether it's China, whether it's some of the Central Asian countries, or Russia, or Iran, or other countries. So basically, a great deal will depend on what the Taliban is going to be doing. Is the Taliban going to commit itself and behave in a way that's going to be seen as trying to maintain and have good relations with other countries and to prevent any of the radical and extremist groups from establishing bases that could attack some of these neighboring countries? If they do that, I think we're likely to see a beginning, slow, but some sort of normalization between these countries and the Taliban government. And of course, a lot will depend on the security situation within Afghanistan itself.
It's a very complicated situation. Thank you so much for breaking it down for us, Edmund Ghareeb. Thanks for your time today,
Thank
sir.
you.
Well, still ahead, Cuba gets a boost in its